In this video, I am going to show you what you need to know and do to deliver the best change management for a lead to cash initiative program. And lead to cash is referred to as L2C. But here's the situation. Most organizations underestimate the level of change people need to adopt, as well as underestimating the level of readiness, training, communication, and leadership alignment required for a successful L2C rollout. As a result, many studies consistently show that about 70% of lead to cash implementations projects fail to achieve their intended ROI. Not because the lead to cash plan was ineffective, but because the organization was not prepared or equipped to adopt the new ways of using the new lead to cash processes. Which is why in this video, I will show you exactly how to apply a proven step-by-step organizational change management framework to ensure that your lead to cash implementation or your lead to cash transformation or lead to cash program is successful. And the methodology I will be going over in this video is based on the same lead to cash change management methodology that I used at organizations like Apple, HSBC, Microsoft, and other organizations to drive change management successes. There are 4 change management phases for you to keep in mind when doing change management for a lead to cash initiative. Take a look at my screen. You will see the 4 phases outlined. Phase 1 is assess readiness. Phase 2 is the design and develop phase. Phase 3 is the implement and manage adoption. And then the final phase is the reinforce and sustain phase. Next, I will go over each of these phases, starting with phase 1. For phase 1, there are 6 change management readiness assessments you should be doing to really help you understand how ready impacted groups within the organization is for the lead to cash L2C implementation. It is the findings from your 6 readiness assessment for the lead to cash program that will tell you exactly where you and your team should focus your entire change management efforts for the lead to cash implementation. The first assessment is for you to conduct a current state and cultural assessment. Basically, you are interested in finding the answer to this question. Here it is. Is the culture of the groups that will be impacted by the lead to cash program, are they ready to accept, embrace, and adopt a transformational lead to cash implementation? In other words, are the cultures receptive to change? If they are not, then they will most likely resist your lead to cash implementation. And so you can use surveys to gather your information, or you can interview focus groups within the impacted groups to gather that information. Stay on to the end of this video and I will give you access to a free downloadable readiness survey that you can use this week to conduct your first round of readiness assessment for your lead to cash implementation. The second assessment for your lead to cash program is a detailed change impact assessment. And to do that, you can download the free impact assessment template that you are currently looking at here on my screen. You can delete the sample data and then enter the data that is relevant for your lead to cash program. You can include divisions, departments, level of impact, what is changing, current state and future state. and the requirements for change management. To gather your change impact assessment for your Lead to Cash program, you will want to meet with business analysts. You will want to meet with the project team members, as well as functional leads. Basically, anyone involved in mapping out the Lead to Cash process flows, you want to be able to have a conversation with them to really ensure you are gathering your change impact. You also want to identify resistance that may derail your Lead to Cash implementation. And so use the free resistance management templates that I am sharing on my screen. After you populate this template, make sure you keep the document confidential and only show it to people on a needs to know basis. This document you are looking at here is what you will use to help mitigate resistance to your Lead to Cash implementation. Lead to Cash implementation often involves resistance. Sometimes those resistance are passive, other times they are active. You also want to map your stakeholders, and you can also use this next free template that I am sharing on my screen. All of the templates that I am going to be sharing with you, at the end of this video, I will give you a link to go to our centralized free change management library that contains all of these templates and more. With the one that you're looking at here on my screen, you want to use this to map out the stakeholders and the champions for your Lead to Cash program. You also want to conduct what I call enablement needs assessment for your Lead to Cash program. What exactly is this anyway, this enablement needs assessment? Well, different departments and groups often have different preferences for how they want to receive change management. Those preferences will vary based on communications. Some people rather have champions sending out communications. Some groups might prefer their managers to be the ones sending communications. Some other groups say, we don't really care if the change practitioner wants to be the one sending out the communications, we are fine with that. It is important for you to gather preferences for communications, for training, for engagement, and also for meetings. And you can use this free enablement needs assessment to capture your information for your Lead to Cash program. You also want to deliver a readiness survey to gather the level of awareness for the Lead to Cash program, the level of receptiveness, knowledge of what the program is all about, and more. And as I said, at the end of this video, I will show you how to get access to this free standardized Lead to Cash survey that you can start using this week. Before we dive into phase 2, if you need somebody to help you with change management to ensure that you are successful, don't hesitate to reach out to me. See the link below. And now we jump into phase 2. For phase 2, we call phase 2 the design and the develop phase for your Lead to Cash L2C implementation. During this phase is where you will design your change strategies and also develop your detailed change management plans, as well as developing the key materials and assets that will be used to communicate, enable, train, and support impacted users to help them accept, embrace, and adopt the Lead to Cash changes. You will want to create your strategies for how change management will be delivered. The 7 strategies on my screen cover all angles. So make sure you rewind this video to make sure you are capturing all of this information. You can pause the video and take a screenshot. So the strategies on my screen cover communication, they cover engagement, all the way to resistance, management, and also training. There is a strategic playbook that I have used many times to conduct change management strategies for lead to cash programs, and I will give that to you for free. But let me show you what it looks like. Okay. When you get into the strategic playbook template, which is in PowerPoint, you will see this cover slide, which is the first slide. You click and then you get to this strategic playbook overview slide. And this slide provides a quick summary of the recommended strategies that you want to consider to help increase change adoption for any project that you might be implementing. As we go through this strategic playbook, I will highlight some key information that you need to know. The first one is when you access and you are using this template playbook, you want to ensure that you include impacted audience. Which groups or personas or job roles will be impacted by your project? You also want to include the level or the severity of impact and ensure that you socialize this slide with stakeholders and also leadership. Your communication strategies, you can leverage the ones that we currently have here on the template, but we recommend that you implement a hybrid communication approach that involves a top-down and a bottom-up approach. What exactly is this? With the top-down, and here is a visual representation, with the top-down, the change and program team are providing communications to leaders and managers and asking them to cascade those communications to end users. For the bottom up, it starts from the bottom. The change and the program team, including the champions, are sending up communications to everyone. That's a bottom up. And so your approach is to use both of them, which is why we call it a hybrid approach. It is very effective to increase change management successes. Within the playbook, you will notice we have also included the channels that you can use to communicate out your change project. This is a template, meaning you have to take this and make changes to it to ensure it matches your project and also your organization. Another strategy included here is the engagement strategy. And here you will notice we propose you do a two-way communication and engagement approach. What is the difference between communication and engagement? Well, engagement really is the interactive component of communicating a change. It involves doing briefings, conducting meetings, doing roadshows, giving people the opportunity to ask questions in real time. So you want to include what we are looking at here on this slide as part of your engagement strategies. And here we are actually providing visual views of the different channels you will want to consider using as part of your strategies for engaging impacted users. So there is a kickoff event, there are roadshows, town halls, focus meetings, and you also have interactive workshops, conduct focus groups, feedback sessions, engage your champions with regular meetings, conduct drop-in support calls, do virtual Q&A sessions, and also have stakeholder roundtables. Now, obviously, it might not be possible for you to do every single one of these, which is fine. The goal is we are presenting you with a portfolio of options. It is up to you to determine which one or two or three or four you have the bandwidth and the capability to implement. Another strategy included here is how to mitigate resistance. You want to apply a proactive and a reactive approach. A proactive approach is identifying where resistance will come from and then developing the plans to ensure it doesn't come up. Reactive is when you identify resistance and then you have to mitigate that. This strategic playbook also includes strategies for engaging with leaders and also sponsors. And you can see here, we have included respective activity types, cadence, how often, and also the purpose. And then there is also strategies for your change champion network, as well as strategies for your training deliverables. Here we've included different strategies to help increase your success. Now, once again, that was a quick overview of the strategic playbook, which is free. And the goal is you take this template and you customize it to match your purpose, your project, and your organization. After finalizing your change management strategies for your lead to cash program using the free change management strategic playbook that I just showed you, the next step is to create your step-by-step lead to cash change management plans, including your engagement, communication, training, stakeholder and sponsorship plans, resistance management plans, your plan for how to track adoption, your change champion plan, and also how you plan to continuously improve. Together, all of these plans ensure that your lead to cash program is not just planned, but executed in a structured, measurable way. Very important, okay? You will also want to create your communication assets, which you will use to drive awareness and engagement during your lead to cash rollout. So, for example, you will want to draft invites for kickoff sessions, onboarding sessions, training reminders, as well as invites for champion engagement sessions, office hours, and other sessions. You will want to draft emails for providing updates, get ready, countdowns, and go live and post go live messages. You will want to use newsletters to maintain momentum and also share success stories. The key is this: consistency. You want to ensure you communicate your lead to cash program early, often, and using multiple channels. Why is this important? It is important to help your lead to cash messaging to land across all impacted audiences. You will also want to develop the materials for onboarding and engaging and equipping your lead to cash change champions. When you access the free library that I will be providing to you at the end of this video, you will see our template lead to cash champion onboarding deck. That is a deck you can leverage for doing your champion kickoff. In addition, you will also want to create leadership engagement materials to help your leaders actively champion the lead to cash rollout. There are multiple materials you want to develop, but take a look at my slide. You see the bottom right, you see what that says? It says leader action roadmap. What exactly is that? It is something that is very simple for you to put together, but very critical for you to deliver to leaders. It is basically a roadmap that helps leaders know what is expected before, during, and after go live for your lead to cash implementation. Leaders find this very, very useful because in one slide, which is also known as a one pager, they are able to see the entire roadmap for where they are needed. You also want to develop persona based, which I also call role based or department based learning materials. So, sales department, as an example, should have their own customized training or learning materials. IT, operations, marketing, finance, all of these different groups are personas. You want to ensure that you are not making the mistake of using a one size fits all. That normally leads to resistance with lead to cash implementation. Make sure you are customizing your training. And so you want to develop videos, how to guides, templates, FAQs, and job aids to help support when you deliver your knowledge sharing and also training. Before we go on, if you are finding value in this video, please give this video a like. It helps me a lot, and it also lets me know that you are finding this video useful. You can literally do it right now, right? You can just click like, underneath this video. And if you want, you can also subscribe to be kept updated when we publish useful content like this one. Okay? All right, so now we move on to phase three of our change management framework for a lead to cash implementation. Phase three is the implement and manage adoption phase for an effective lead to cash implementation. During this phase, you are actually delivering your change management strategies and also plans. So, your targeted communications are things you start to deliver, and you deliver communications through emails, newsletters, town halls, videos, as well as having an enablement website, a centralized website for all your change management resources. Don't forget, keep your messages transparent and also consistent. The goal is to make sure every audience that is impacted by the lead to cash rollout, that they are getting the right information at the right time through the right channels to help build excitement, readiness, and sustained adoption of your lead to cash implementation. Take a look at my screen. You want to use this free template for your communication plan. It contains the right level of columns without overwhelming you when delivering your change management communications. It includes a column for your lead to cash communication audience, what type of communication it is, frequency, the priority, the delivery channel, who's going to deliver the communication for your lead to cash, as well as the communication objective. You also want to launch, manage, and support your lead to cash champions, starting with a kickoff session where you go over what does it really mean to be a champion for lead to cash? What are their roles and responsibilities? You also want to deliver a white glove leadership uh, onboarding and coaching. What exactly is this? This is really a personalized session that you provide to leaders to help them understand the value of the lead to cash program. But you are delivering this from a personalized perspective, which helps leaders get a personalized understanding of what the lead to cash really means for them and how the transformation would benefit them personally in their day-to-day functions. I recommend that you do a one-on-one session. That is what I normally do as a top change management consultant. I like to provide one-on-one sessions with leaders where I use a day in the life use case to walk them through how the new lead to cash processes and systems will help them increase productivity throughout the day. It's not always going to be possible to do one-on-ones, and sometimes I do small group sessions with leaders within a department or within a group. I invite all of them to that one session, and I will have multiple group sessions to cover all of the different impacted groups of leaders. You also want to deliver your hands-on lead to cash training to equip all impacted users with the knowledge, the skills, and the confidence they need to use the new lead to cash processes and tools effectively. You will also want to manage resistance proactively and reactively and use champions and leaders to help mitigate resistance to the lead to cash rollout. Take a look at my screen again. What you are looking at here is a risk mitigation template. It's another free template that you will get when you access our free change management library. You can delete the sample data that you are looking at and then enter your own data for your organization and your lead to cash implementation. You also want to track adoption metrics like user usage, training completion, and any feedback sentiments that you might be getting. Okay, so phase four is where we sustain and reinforce the new behaviors for the lead to cash implementation. For phase four, you want to ensure that you maintain your change champion network as well as your feedback loops for your lead to cash implementation. Keep your lead to cash champions and leaders engaged through monthly or quarterly meetings, surveys, as well as storytelling. Ensure that you are checking in with champions using any collaborative platform your organization uses. So, for example, Teams or Slack or Zoom channels where you are sending messages to the group. How is everyone doing? Does anyone have any questions? Things like that. Keep your champions engaged. Next, continue office hours and support calls to provide ongoing help and also to refresh training. You also want to measure adoption of the lead to cash during the sustained phase. So track usage, track lead to cash engagement, track sentiment trends to ensure adoption doesn't fall off over time. You also want to capture and integrate lessons learned from the lead to cash rollout. That way, future rollouts can benefit from this experience. You also want to ensure that you reinforce and recognize adoption by celebrating success stories, highlighting top users, and showing the impact the change is having. What I normally do as a best change management consulting practices is I draft communications to recognize people. I give those communications to senior leaders and I ask them to cascade those communications to their organization to recognize the people that are going far and beyond in using the new lead to cash processes and platforms. What that does is it makes the people that are recognized feel appreciated and they want to do more in using the lead to cash processes. The people that are not recognized, it makes them want to be recognized in the future and it increases their adoption. Okay. Now, here is a quick summary of the four phases that I just went over that I use to increase my change management success as a consultant for lead to cash implementation. Let me build this out so you can see this slide, everything together, starting with phase one. So during phase one, I mentioned conducting your change readiness assessments. And for phase two, we discussed designing and building your change strategy, your detailed change management plans for your lead to cash, as well as also developing your change assets for delivering communications, training, engagement, and support. And then we talked about phase three is really where you implement your change management lead to cash deliverables, right? That included launching and also managing the change champion network for your lead to cash, delivering communications, delivering hands-on training, conducting office hours for people to join to get help or to ask questions, coaching your leaders to make them more effective leaders of change during a lead to cash implementation, and also managing resistance. And then we also talked about the fourth phase, where you embed the new behaviors to using lead to cash into day to day operations. Each phase is time bound and scalable. What exactly do I mean by that? It really means that we can apply this four phase approach for a small pilot, or we can expand it enterprise wide with the same structured cadence. Doing change management is not easy, and organizations often hire my change management consulting firm to help them achieve the best change management successes for their programs and to drastically reduce resistance and increase adoption. My organization, Iridium Group, is one of the top rated best change management consulting firms, and we support all organizational sizes, including small organizations, mid sized organizations, and very large organizations. And unlike a lot of consulting firms, we are true change management consultants. And our expertise is really focused around delivering change management, delivering best change management services, practices, and deliverables to increase change adoption and also reduce resistance. We support a wide range of project types, including lead to cash, quotes to cash, ERP, CRM implementations, PLM, HRIS, HCM, business transformations, AI, digitalization, and many more. So if your organization has any questions, or if you have any questions, or you need somebody to help do a lot of the change management heavy lifting that we went over during this video to ensure that you are successful, do reach out to me. See the link below. Also below, you will find the link to our free readiness assessment survey, and also the link to our free change management library that contains 20 and more free templates, including all of the templates that I showed you during this call. And don't forget to like this video, as that lets me know that you have received value from it. You can also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss great content like this one.